everyone. It is Mark Thurman from TVMI. I am sitting here with Seth Gold from Hardcore Porn.
Yes.
Hello, Seth.
Hello.
It's nice to have you. I was just talking to your dad.
Yeah, I know. Now it's all downhill. I'm sorry. You got the top, and now it's my turn.
You know, it's interesting to talk to him first because obviously he's your father. He's the proprietor. You're, you know, the next generation.
As he likes to say, he's the president and reminds us of that daily. So, yes, I'm surprised he even let me sit here. Normally he has me working all the time.
But I've got to say, it's got to be really cool that you're one of the featured players or stars, however you want to call it, in this very popular reality show.
Yeah, it's wild. I would never imagine growing up that I would be on TV as much success as we've obtained. It's an amazing experience.
What is the experience? If you had to put it in like a sentence or two, what's the whole experience like?
Well, being on reality TV was funny because when the show first aired, the producer goes, "Your life will never be the same." I looked at him like, yeah, because we're going to be in like 2 pilot episodes and we're going to be out.
Right.
But the truth of the matter is the first time someone came in and said, "Hey, Seth, let me grab a picture with you," I turned to them, I said, "For what?" And, you know, it's very cool because it kind of puts you up there. Now we can actually go out and do cool things like this. We're here in New York hanging out, get to do a bunch of press. And it's just surreal. It's the best word I can
So you get recognized pretty much everywhere you go.
Yeah, everywhere we go, and people have no qualms on telling how they feel about me and my family. It's like, you are this and you're that, but you know, it's fun. Like, I can't imagine like having this happen to you and going through 4.5 years of it. It's just been awesome.
Now, growing up in the family-owned business, was it? Did you want to get into the business? Did you always think as a child, I'm going to get older, I really want to? Was that what you wanted to do?
No, absolutely not. In fact, it was like furthest thing from what I wanted to do.
Really?
Growing up, my friends' dads were all doctors and lawyers, and my dad worked at a pawn shop, so I got caught up with the stigma of what pawnbroking was.
Right.
And it wasn't until my senior year at University of Michigan I was studying medicine. And I was like, I don't really like what I'm doing. So I called my mom up. I'm like, I think I want to get in the business. And her response back to me was like, what business? I'm like, the family business. So I graduated, and lo and behold, 10 years later, this is where we're at.
And has it been, and obviously before you did the show, you were already in the family business. You were working in the business. Is doing the show, is anything different about the business now that you're doing this show? Has anything been altered? Or basically it's the same thing except we have cameras there?
Well, you know, it's funny because I equate it to kind of being like an athlete, being able to watch what you do and how you play. So like I'll watch the show sometimes and kind of go through a negotiation and be like, yeah, I probably shouldn't have acted like that, or probably shouldn't have done it like that. So now it's like, you live it twice. You do it, and then you get to watch it and see how you behave.
Well, that's my next question. Do you actually sit and watch yourself?
Yeah, I do. I'm not really a big fan of mine, so like when I'm on, I'll watch it, and I kind of like watch and see, but fast forward sometimes. But yeah, you gotta watch the show. It's entertaining.
What was the experience like when you did the first show? The first show aired. Were you all together watching it as a family? Were you? What was that like?
Well, so the pilot aired on a Monday night at 11 o'clock, and we rented out the bar. Like, we thought this was our chance. We're only getting a pilot episode. This is the one time. And we rented it out, had a bunch of our co-workers there, and I just remember at 11 o'clock at night, we were like, this is prime time. Everyone's like sleeping, and the show rated, and they're like, oh, we want to go series with it.
Now, is there anything when you do the show every week, and your dad was telling me you have 13 episodes per season, you started...
Well, 26 episodes per season.
26, but you break it up in half. So it's basically, and you've been doing it now for 5 years, but they kind of refer to each of the seasons.
Right.
So technically you're now in season 9.
Right.
Which is pretty damn impressive because the ratings are still rock solid.
Yeah, we've been doing well on truTV. They've been a big advocate of ours, and they've helped push us out. And, people are just interested. There's so many layers that I think that the show hits on. So whether or not you've been to a pawn shop, you might be interested in the show and see what it's like in case you never walked in. If you worked in a family business, or if you have an item that's being brought in, there's so many levels, and that's what I think drives the show. It's like, I have something like that in my house. I wonder how much the street value is. Or I have a brother like Seth, or a sister like Ashley, or a dad. And so I think that there's so many points. If you didn't have those relatability things, you're not going to be on for very long.
What is there about a pawn shop that's so interesting to an audience? What is it?
I think it's just non-traditional banking, and so people really that don't, like, imagine not being able to go to your bank and getting money out of an ATM. Right? That's essentially what we are. We're a bank for people that don't have bank accounts.
But why are people viewers are obviously very fascinated in the concept. Is it the variety of people that are coming in?
Well, of course. I mean, people just see people that are down on their luck. They want to see what people have. They want to see just how the other half lives, I guess, in a weird way. But I think there's a whole bunch of intrigue. When you say pawn shop, like, people just want to know more about it.
Right. No, it's interesting. And I would assume you don't want everything to be smooth running. You want people to come in and have a little conflict. They don't agree. They're going to get upset. The cameras are rolling. You've got a nice dramatics in the show.
Right.
And when you do the show, does the network or the producers give you any notes or any situations?
No.
You just do it?
It just goes. And I arrive at work at 9:15. So we open at 9:30. My dad basically would say I get there a little bit late sometimes. But 9:15, I arrive. I put on a mic pack and we just go to work.
And you just basically are running the shop and the cameras are rolling.
That's it.
And what's an average day? What time do you normally leave?
So 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock.
9:30 to 6 is our standard hours.
Right.
We're out of there after we're packing up the jewelry about 6:30.
Right.
Home by 7.
And they don't tell you, like, do this or that, you just do it.
That would make my job a lot easier if they did. It's just, but, you know, it's not one of those things. It's go to work, and I think you rely on that to keep the show interesting. I mean, the viewers at home know when something seems fishy, right? So you'll be watching a reality show and you're like, yeah, this show's not like that. And that's why I think it has a long shelf life as it's had.
Has any situations gotten a little dangerous where you think, like, this is a little too much already?
Of course. You know, the thing that I look at is when businesses stop being transacted, it's time for that customer to go. Right? If there's no money being transacted, there's no reason for you to be in the shop. So when people get a little bit more agitated, it's really time for them to go. You just treat it like a business. It's not every one of our transactions is so exciting that it's going to make the TV show. In fact, most of them aren't. Most of them are a simple transaction. Customer comes in to get a short-term loan, and then you see them a few months later.
And you've got that bodyguard there all the time?
Multiple.
I mean,
multiple of those guys.
I mean, based on what I've seen from some of these bodyguards, I wouldn't mess with them. I'm not a small person either.
Right, no, you're not.
I'm not tiny. So technically, I could go ballistic, but I don't think I'd start up.
Well, it's funny because we get a lot of tourists that come in the shop now, and so I think on the car ride to the store, people are like, "Yeah, I'm gonna get tossed out, blah blah blah, blah. It's gonna be awesome." And then they see my guards, and they're like, "Yeah, I don't think so."
Is this what the show basically is? People are actually want to get tossed out.
Yeah.
To be tossed out on this show is a really cool thing. You could, I mean, there should be T-shirts.
There are.
Are there?
There are. Go to our website. You can get your T-shirts.
Do you have a 2XL? I'd like to buy one.
I will get it for you.
No, I honestly think if I came in, and maybe one day I will. If you didn't give me what I want, then I just have to deal with it.
Let me ask you, so there's a lot of misconceptions that have to do with the pawn industry. So out of 10 people that get loans with me, how many do you think come back and get their stuff?
I would assume most of them would come back and get their stuff.
But
that's not the answer.
No, you're wrong. Most people would say most do not come back and get their stuff. Most people would say like 10%, 20%. Actually, 80 to 90%.
Oh, you mean after it's pawned?
After it's pawned, yeah.
Oh, I would probably say about half would come back for the stuff.
80 to 90% come back. And that's a nationwide average. So a lot of people, like I said, there's so many misconceptions that go along with pawnbroking. It's an interesting business. So next time you're in Detroit, stop by. You'll be pawnbroking for the day.
I would love to come by and check it out. Now, what's the future? Do you see yourself doing the show for many more years?
You know, we're still having fun with it. So I think the second it stops becoming fun, then that's when it's over. So yeah, we anticipate a long run, hopefully. I mean, I would never imagine it would go on to 5 years. So we'll just take it day by day.
Well, I was just telling you, Dad. Speaking as somebody, I crunch ratings. I'm pretty up to date on the numbers, and I do that every day. And speaking as a professional, the show is not going anywhere.
I hope that. I hope so.
You're gonna have more seasons ahead, and I thank you very much.
Thank you.
Seth, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you very much.
I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
I'll have to come and pawn something one of these days.
No problem. Whatever you like.
But if I pawn it, I'm gonna come back and get it.
I assume you would.
I'll try. I thank you very much. I am Mark Berman from TVMI, and coming up next is your sister.
Have fun with that one.
Sure. Thank you.